Hey folks, I want to talk about firewalls and routers, or at least firewalls. Some people call them routers. Very rarely are you actually using them as a router. So for a business, what should you be using for your organization, for your money making, really? Right? This is all about making money and saving money. So sometimes we run into customers who have these. This is a home level router with Wi-Fi built into it. If it's got Wi-Fi built into it, it shouldn't be the what's known as an edge device for your network. Years ago, in the 1980s, early 90s, you'd have 8 computers doing all of the things that are currently happening inside here. You've got some DNS, you've got some DHCP, you've got lots of other 3-letter and 4-letter acronyms running inside this machine. You've got a Wi-Fi, which is, this is probably Wi-Fi 5, which is the AC. And you've got some opportunities here in the back. You've got a USB port. You could put printer or a hard drive for some network attached storage. Horrible idea, security-wise. But nonetheless, people buy these and they install them at their businesses. And that's a horrible idea. Why? Because it's not built for that. You need to have more control over your network than this gives you. This gives you functionality of having a network. This doesn't give you functionality of controlling a network. This doesn't give you functionality that a business needs. This is what a business should typically have. You have an access point which is dedicated for Wi-Fi. This whole thing is the antenna, not these things. Right? This typically can have PoE or power driven to it. There's lots of different ones you can get. This is just the Fortinet brand of access points. This allows you to have a single network of Wi-Fi. You can have a controller. Usually in this case it's the router. In the case of other access points, they have their own controllers. Sometimes it's hardware, sometimes it's software. But you can have a single environment. You can have 8, 10, 20 of these. They all see as a seamless location. This is what happens when you go to a hotel, when you go to a resort, when you go to Disney World. You connect to the Wi-Fi and you're walking around the entire environment. This is what an enterprise business should have, not 3 or 4 differently named Wi-Fis that people connect to and walk around. So what kind of firewall should you have? You should have something called a Next Generation Firewall. Sometimes this is called a UTM, Unified Threat Management. Sometimes it's called a UTP, Unified Threat Protection. Sometimes it's called Enterprise 365 or Protection Suite 360. Every vendor has a different name for the same product. Effectively, you need a device that allows you to control it completely and totally. And that's what a next generation firewall gives you. Not only is this often the VPN server for people to be able to log into the network or for you to be able to synchronize your network up with other networks, but it gives you much better control over it. Let me explain what I mean. You've got some users that you want to be able to have Facebook access. Maybe you have a marketing department. The marketing department needs to go to Facebook, needs to go to Instagram. They need to be able to go to YouTube. They need to be able to go to sites to do their job for marketing. But you have a call center there too. Or you have a front desk, some receptionists. You have people that should not be on Spotify, should not be on YouTube, should not be on Facebook. They shouldn't be going to adult content sites. You have different people that should have different levels of control and different levels of permission wherever they are. That's what this can give you. It gives you true control over your network. Not just the network itself, but it lets you control the network. This is a higher end computer inside. Everything's a computer. You've got a computer in here, a computer in your phone, a computer in cameras, a computer in thermostats. We have light bulbs that are computers now. This is a robust processing unit with memory and firepower, and it can do anything with a network that you want it to, including having failover. This device, both of them, this is the one below it is just a more powerful, larger unit, can have multiple internet connections. This one can have 2. It has WAN 1 and WAN 2. WAN stands for Wide Area Network. And this, like many other next generation firewalls, supports something called SD-WAN, which is called software-defined wide area network. That lets me control everything inside the network with triggers and conditions. You're not allowed to go to this website. You are allowed to go to this website. You're not allowed to go here between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. You are allowed to go here anytime you want. It allows you to have more than one internet connection. Again, it's about saving money and making money. So, if you have 2 internet connections, one which is fiber, fast, powerful, and you have another that's not quite as expensive because it's your failover. You've got some coax, it's not as good. You can prioritize all of your traffic to go out the fiber until it reaches certain thresholds. You can have all of your traffic go out the fiber at all points in time, and only when the fiber goes down, maybe it can't ping or reach Google for 10 seconds, then it fails over to your other connection. This means your business isn't losing money. This means your business isn't losing time. We just recently, here in Austin, Texas, had the snowpocalypse. You may have heard about it. Freezing temperatures for 205 hours straight. Never seen before in the history of Texas. Lots of things failed. However, all of our customers that had 2 internet connections and a device like this were still operational, as long as they had power. But you can use devices like this to maintain a higher uptime. More internet means more uptime, means more money. The cost of a second internet connection is almost always insignificant to the cost of the loss that you might have. So, not only do these things give you that kind of functionality as a next generation firewall, but they enhance the security of your network. How do they do that? Not only do they let me control what I'm doing inside my network, going out, but it lets me control my network and who gets to talk to my network coming in. Let's say your business has no international business. Let's say you are an organization that deals with customers in the United States and you buy and sell product in the United States, and that's it. There's no reason for you to talk to German customers, British customers, Australian customers, Chinese, Russian, Japan, pick a country. There's no reason for you to talk to them. Block them. 85% of malware and attack programs, viruses, adware, and the like, come from organizations outside the geosphere of America, the geolocation. So block them all. This means you might be able to have an opportunity where some email comes in that has a payload, your employee double clicks on it, and that payload doesn't execute because it goes to download something from a network your network can't talk to. It can add an amazing amount of value from a security standpoint, as well as giving you value from a monetary standpoint. You're not going to have your users complaining that the internet is slow or the Wi-Fi is bad when they're all running Spotify and YouTube all day long. Surprise, you're going to have an internet problem. The size of these devices is really the only thing you need to concern yourself with. The size of it bigger, obviously, costs more. And the only reason you need to go bigger is if you have more employees that necessitate that. You've got your FortiGates. This is a 60. This could handle 30 people, 40 people. After that, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time. This is more for 100 to 200 people, this rack mount unit. Make sure that it's the use case that you need. Make sure that it does what you need it to do for the hardware that you're buying. Your IT vendor should be able to help you with that. Or your internal IT company can reach out to companies like Fortinet to get those specifications. Now, we have Fortinet here in the video, but there's no reason that you only need to go with them. There's a lot of other organizations that use competing products that are similar. Sophos, Meraki, Palo Alto. There's price points all over the place for some of these pieces of equipment because some of them are meant for a satellite office and some of them are meant for a headquarters. So in this scenario, let's say you have a headquarters, there's 100 people at it. You need to have a larger unit like the one down here. You've got 10 satellite offices. You have a smaller unit like one of these that then can report data back to the home office. One of the other things that you might need these for and not be able to use these for is if you have some form of compliance. If you are a HIPAA entity, a FINRA entity, maybe you're a SOX entity, there's some sort of compliance that you need to meet with. Logging and analytics. You need to be able to prove that your customers didn't talk to you or that your customers did talk to you. You need to prove that your employees didn't go to that website or that they did. These let you do that. They let you push the logs off of them to a specified logging server, sometimes a specific program. In the case of Fortinet, they have a product called Log Analyzer, but you don't need to buy that. If you don't want to use it, they can push to a standard generic log server, event log server, if you want. So there's a lot of value here. You can also buy software, all of the vendors have it, that allow you to control all of the devices simultaneously. So let's say, again, you had one of these at the headquarters and 10 of these at satellite offices. You can have a single pane of glass where you're clicking and configuring one thing, and it pushes it out to all of your devices and all of your locations, and you can manage it all effortlessly. So there might be a lot of value here for your organization to have a next generation firewall. Your organization might be required to even have something like it by law, being able to restrict and control where your users go. I have seen employees sue organizations because they were just able to get to adult content. They considered it sexual harassment. So there's value in an organization protecting itself, not just from hackers, but from possible legal circumstance, from compliance or users. Hopefully this has been helpful. Have a great day.